This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, and welcome you all to another rambling of mine. So this week, not a huge amount to talk about, but I thought I would do a little vlog on Senuas Sacrifice, which I did a few Let's Plays on, and they weren't massively popular. Let me move this microphone more towards me. And so with them not being hugely popular, I thought, well, I won't do much more of that because there was other things coming along, such as Pillars of Eternity, and I thought, well, I might as well focus on something a bit more RPG orientated. But it was nice to do a couple of episodes for the channel just to show people what it was like. Hellblade Senuas Sacrifice is the full title. But I gave it a little bit of a hard time when I spoke about it the couple of vlogs ago, I think, and at that point, I'm pretty sure I had done the entire fire level. So at the beginning of the game, you get to choose between two doors, and it doesn't matter which order you pick them in. It just lets you pick either or. Because I started it again from the beginning when my son was down visiting me for the last number of days, and we sort of rattled through it in our afternoon/evening, and he picked the opposite door to which I'd picked, which I didn't see him do it, but he just did it because I was out of the room at the time. And I came back and I was like, oh, this isn't... I don't remember any of what you're doing. And it was like, oh, I picked the other door. I was like, oh, right, okay. So, I mean, I was only out of the room for a few minutes. However, so that being the case, so it doesn't matter which way you do it. However, as you go through the game, when I talk about... Let me rewind slightly, people. Let me rewind. Shall I? So I think last time I spoke about it, I said there was an awful lot of walking, there was an awful lot of rowing, and there was an awful lot of taking in the scenery, and then it got frustrating, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine. And I think part of the reason I got frustrated with the puzzles was because I was trying to record it for the Let's Play, and sometimes when you're doing that, you feel rushed or stupid. One or the other, and it gets really frustrating when you're trying to find stuff and you can't find it. Now, in real terms, what you can do is then edit it later, which I did actually. I edited it later, and it looked a lot shorter to you guys than it did me looking around. And in fact, I had to Google one of the shape matches because I just couldn't find it. And it was dead simple in the end, to be fair. And other people would have spotted it. In fact, I think the one that, when I showed my son, when we finally got to the second one, I showed him the one that I had to Google, he kind of had spotted it already, because once you're used to these puzzles, you kind of start looking for sort of key objects that you think might match up. So I think I was a little bit harsh on it from that perspective. However, when you get into the real nitty-gritties of this game, it actually gets really, really good, and it gets really, really intense. And the battles get a lot more difficult because they start introducing more characters that you battle against, and they start throwing more of them at you. So although, as I said last time, it was like it felt empty because there was no level up system and there was no progression, if you like, from the game. You are what you are. You have what you have to some extent. I won't spoil it for people, but you do get an extra object later that helps you in the fights. Other than that, you are what you are, and you've got to take on these enemies with the set you're given, the moves you're given, and just learn them. And to be fair, it actually got more and more fun as the game went on, because when you recognised what it was you were trying to do in each of these sort of puzzle areas, and it still stopped every now and then to sort of love itself a little bit with the scenery, but it got more and more gorgeous as it went on as well. I mean, it is a really good looking game, and the battle system... It's very, like, you feel like you're moving a person around, you know, with some games, like, and especially with Ninja Theory before, they've made a lot of games that are sort of, you know, jumping in the air, spinning around, and, you know, all of those, and they're great games, they're fun, but with this game, it's a very grounded character, it's a very grounded fighting system, so, you know, you can dodge and you can roll and such like, but it feels very heavy and very slow to a point, compared to those sort of fighting games, and it makes it feel far more real. So, you know, because I kind of, when my son started playing it, I told him I was disappointed with the fighting system. In fact, when I got into the nitty-gritties of the game, I think I actually quite liked it. I kind of liked the fact they'd gone with a more realistic fighting system. And yeah, I mean, it got more and more engrossing. I still have no idea what the bloody hell was going on, other than at the beginning of the game, it apparently says, and again I missed this twice now, it says that this game is to do with mental health. Now that's fine, and I understand. I appreciate the fact that they were trying to do possibly a game that was addressing an issue there. But if they hadn't put that line up on the screen at the beginning of the game, I would have been none the wiser that this was about mental health, to be quite honest with you. I mean, she's quite obviously as mad as a bloody hatter. But that's beside the point. I mean, I can say that about loads of characters in the gaming world. So for me, if this was meant to be telling me about difficulties in mental illness or something, I didn't get that at all. So, you know, but that's just me. But there seemed to be a lot of... I remember seeing people commenting on it before I'd played it, saying, you know, things quite deep about it and stuff. I just didn't see any of that. Maybe there's just something wrong with my brain. But I just didn't get any of that mental illness stuff. It felt to me it was a game that was set in a hell of some description, and this girl's trying to battle her way out of it, and that's fine. And if that's how it is to be in a mental health situation where you are trapped inside a horrible place like that, then obviously I get that concept. But had they not said that at the beginning of the game, I wouldn't have known it was about mental health, is basically all I'm getting at. So, I mean, you know, hat off to them for producing a game that they were hoping would raise some sort of awareness for that. That's great. But I didn't get that vibe from it. But having said that, my son did, apparently, so... But then everything I do now is stupid, according to him, so it doesn't matter, you know. But there you are. But I really, really enjoyed the game, and we got a little bit frustrated toward the end, but it was only because it had gotten quite late and we wanted to go to bed, but we wanted to finish it before we got to bed. And it threw loads of fights at you at the end, and actually it was a good thing, but at the time we just wanted to go to bed. So... and it looked, I mean, as I say, it looked stunning, and it got more and more stunning as the game went on. Now, I paid, I think, 25 quid for that game or something like that. And is it worth it? Absolutely, yes. And I think last time I talked about this game, I said I would have given it a 7. I think probably I would give it an 8 out of 10. It is a really good game. And when you get into the real heart of it, I think you get really engrossed in it. And you certainly get really engrossed in the sort of... It becomes a bit more adventurous as well, because you've got to go up different cave points. You've got to run. There's a bit where there's a sort of dark monster, if you like. I mean, we've seen it in games before, but if you go into the shadow, the monster can get you. You've got to get to the next sort of lit point. You know, I mean, Alan Wake did it pretty well, didn't it? But that sort of thing where don't stay in the shadows, you've got to get to the next light point. All this sort of stuff. So they really mixed it up, and it was really, really fun. I was really surprised how much I got into it when I was playing it with my son, actually, and we got really into the heart of the game. So for anyone who has been half-heartedly thinking about getting it or whatever, I can guarantee you won't be disappointed. If you really throw yourself into it, you have a really good time with that game. And we played it probably for about 6, maybe 7 hours, something like that, I think. I mean, we started it in the afternoon and we finished it, trying to remember now, but I'm pretty sure it was a good 6 or 7 hours of gameplay, thereabouts. And for me, I mean, I've had AAA games that are 7 hours long. I mean, I think Uncharted games are only, but well, not the newest one, but certainly the older Uncharted games were probably about that in their campaign. So I think, you know, to get a game from an indie dev that is 7 hours long, looks that fantastic, is really engrossing and takes you to somewhere, you know, really different, which it does. And it had a really good vibe to it. And there's something else that was really impressive was some of the music that came on when we were fighting was brilliant. I mean, really, really atmospheric. You know, really sort of tribal and Viking-ish, and, you know, that sort of, you know, you get into the fights, it really adds to the tension of the fighting and gives you a bit of a buzz. So that was really cool as well. But generally speaking, these little whispering voices that talk to you all the way through the game. Although there were points when I was like, for the love of God, will you shut up? Stop whispering every 2 seconds. It's doing me head in. But they are quite clever in the fact that these whispering voices, if you're not quite sure what you're doing, they'll sort of throw, you know, suggestions at you as to what you should do. And the whole tutorial is basically them sort of throwing ideas at you, which is quite cool. So there's none of this, let's go to a tutorial room and figure out what we're doing. You just got to figure it out. The first fight you have, it's not told you what buttons to press. It doesn't, they whisper at you, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. Basically, you just hit buttons until you find the right one and then you get going. So that was pretty cool. There was a thing, I think, early on in this game's development, because what happens is she gets a sort of infection in her arm after the very first sort of battle scene, and it's meant to happen. And it basically says that if you get hit, if you fail too many times, if you die too many times in a fight or whatever, this grows all the way up the arm, and if it reaches the head, they said that you would lose your entire game. And I think that was their every intention. However, they got such an uproar from people going, "Oh God, really?" That I think they backed out of it, because we died for stupid reasons rather than actually fail. It was more rushing than it was anything else. But I think they took it out. I mean, it would have been nice to have the option, maybe a hard trophy that said, that mechanism was on, and if you failed, then you have to go back and there'd be a special trophy for it. That would have been pretty good, actually. But they seem to just have taken that idea out altogether, because there was we probably should have failed because we died so many times, but it just seemed to stop at the shoulder and didn't go any further. So I think that whole mechanic was taken out, even though they wanted to put it in. But for me, they should have just put it in as an option and an extra trophy if you really wanted to go for it, because it is a really easy platinum, that game. So they could have put a little hard trophy in like that. I say it's an easy platinum. There is one trophy you can miss, and it's it's a little bit like if you've ever played Kingdoms of Amalur, and there was those, I forget what their exact name was, but there was the Elvish stones. And whenever you went over and touched one, it told you some lore about the world, that like an Elvish voice would speak to you and tell the story, that sort of thing. Well, there's things like that in this game, and they're sort of tucked around corners and stuff. So you have to go around and just check every corner and make sure you find them. We didn't find every single one, but we found a lot. So I don't think we missed many. And so far as I can tell, I think you'd have to play the whole game again in order to get them all, but I could be wrong. I haven't actually checked to see if you can do chapters, but it didn't seem like the sort of game you could do that. But there you are. Yeah, so there's my general impressions of Hellblade Senuas Sacrifice. Absolutely give it a go if you're in heart. It is definitely worth 25 quid, without any shadow of a doubt. It's a fantastic game. It's really engrossing. It looks fantastic. It's gorgeous. The mechanics are great when you get going with the fighting. And absolutely, yeah. Go, go, go. I mean, I know most people will probably wait for it to drop in price. That's fine. But I'm glad I've played it now and got through it. The replayability value is probably what brings it down, because it's so easy to get the trophies that my only reason to play that game again really would be to get the platinum, because I missed that one trophy. Just go through and find those stones. So there you are. Yeah, so the replayability will probably put some people off. So if you wait, you could wait for it in a sale, I suppose. But you won't be disappointed after playing it. Great game. So just to say, on another note, that I will be doing lots more of Pillars of Eternity. It has been really popular. The first video is already at 1,300 or something. And even the second two, usually you get a really good hit like that. The other videos can start tailing off somewhat, to the point where you're just getting 10s, 20s, and people lose interest. But in actual fact, there's like 300 on the second one, 300 on the second one, 200 on the third one. So I'll be doing lots more of it. I wanted to do it as a whole Let's Play anyway, because I think it will be of interest to people who might get it even later in the day. I think I've said this before. So I will be doing lots more of it. It's simply because this week, as you all know from my last vlog, that it was my poor mum's funeral on Tuesday this week, and that's why my son was down. So we just took that evening to play Senuas Sacrifice, just to chill out one evening before the funeral. So this week's been very emotional, and just trying to wrap your head around stuff like that. As anyone who's been through it knows it. So I wanted to do this vlog just to say hello, and that I'm still here, and I will be doing lots more of the Pillars of Eternity without any shadow of a doubt. I will try and I might actually try and do some this weekend. Possibly on Sunday, I might try and do a couple of episodes and get those posted up, and I'll be doing some through the week. But it is still a little bit of a mixed bag as to what sort of time I get on gaming, just because I might have to fly off, see my dad or whatever, those sorts of things, just to spend some time with him. I took him out today, sort of get him out of the house for a little bit, because it's obviously really tough on him. It's tough on us all, but especially when you've been with someone for 50 years, it's particularly tough. It's like having a part of yourself removed. It's a tough thing. But he's doing as well as he can do, so I'm really proud of him. I have a couple of purchases from today, people. Yes, I do. These are geeky purchases, nothing to do with gaming. However, they are geeky purchases, so I thought, if I can't do gaming on the channel, at least I can do geeky purchases. I've done it before. Behind me here, you can see like a number of things that I kind of try and show off at some point in my videos. So you've got old Isaac at the corner with a necro at the very end. You've got the old Stormtrooper head, you've got Gollum in the middle, and you've got Minas Tirith over here. And I think that's about it at the moment. I probably faded away as I turn around there. So I thought maybe I could get a couple of other... I love these little sort of ornamental pieces that you can pick up or you get with, special editions, which I tend not to buy. I tend not to buy these special editions. So all the little ornament type things I have been probably purchased for me by other people. I still have the, what are they called? The Stormtroopers, and the die-cast Stormtroopers, and lots of little knickknacks through in the other room, which aren't sort of displayed behind me. But I did buy today. I was in HMV, and I was actually looking for music, if there was a deal on sort of thing, which I did actually. I got 2 Oasis albums for £10. Because I've been trying to build up my Oasis collection. I felt like I was missing too much because I've sort of had a resurgence of listening to them and sort of Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds and stuff. But I realised that I was missing so many Oasis tracks because I just didn't have the full set of albums. So I got a couple of the albums that I was missing today. There's still a few more to get, but for 2 for 10 quid, you can't grumble. And I still like having the disc, people. It's the same with me and CDs as it is with me and gaming. Give me the disc, because if anything happens, I've always got my disc. So I always prefer to buy my music on a disc. Inevitably, I download it because it's just easier. But when I'm just uptown like that, and I always go into HMV and just see if there's, something. It's always the storage as well, isn't it, with CDs? But I just, I have, at some point I'll show you, because I haven't got it yet, but my dad just bought a new record deck, and he's given me his other one, which is a really sweet record deck, but I just don't have an amp to play it through and stuff, and I don't have any vinyls, because I got rid of those years ago. But I really, really fancy having a little vinyl collection. I'm not going to start buying loads of vinyls, but just specific type of bands I think I'll go for. So I just need, at some point I'll save a few pennies together, and I'll get myself an amp and some sort of way of projecting it. Because what I want to do is project it onto the soundbar so that I can just play everything through the soundbar. So I need to connect it either via Bluetooth or via audio cable around the room to the top here. Anyway, I digress, people. So the 2 purchases from today is Star Wars and... So I found them together sitting where all of the novels and stuff were in HMV. They have loads of hardback novels and stuff and books of specific things. And I just stumbled across, they were just sat in all the middle of it. And we have a little Yoda there. And he comes with a little book of quotes. I think they both do. They come with a little book of quotes. So I'm not sure yet if they're plastic or whether they're sort of some sort of clay or whatever. I'll tell you in the next video because I haven't opened them yet. Oh, hang on. This one looks quite easy to... No, I won't. It's going to get messy, people. But I'll tell you in the next one. Now, they were 10 quid each, which is pretty much, which is pretty sweet as far as I'm concerned. And I didn't buy them initially. I thought, I'll wait, because it was quite early in the day, and I thought, it's a treat that shouldn't really be there. But it's one of those things, if you don't buy them when you see them, and then you think, I wouldn't mind getting that again, you never see them again. I mean, I went into the Disney shop after this, because that's why I didn't buy them. I thought, there's a Disney shop up there. I bet it's got loads of Star Wars stuff. I'll go and check that. And they didn't have anything as nice as these two. So, apart from the diecast figures, but they only had Rey and the bad guy, Kylo Ren. And then we got this one. It's a really bad Darth Vader. They're really saliva. So we've got Darth Vader, but he's in that position where he's, join me and we can rule the universe together. So he's in that sort of stance. I don't know if you can see that. Getting a lot of reflection off of this. So there he is. I hope you can see that. So there you are. So I got both of those. So I think the plan would be that I'll try and put them up here somewhere. And if you ever wondered what these two pictures are, it's the one on the right. Everything's backwards in this camera. This one is a picture of me and my son when he was about 8 on a waterlog at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and that one is him climbing up a massive, same age I think, climbing up one of those things where they strap a rope to your back so you don't fall, and they can climb up a climbing wall, I guess you could call it. So there you are. If you ever wondered what all that was behind me, you now know. And we'll add these ones to it next. Well, for the next vlog, and we'll see. Well, we'll see. I might have to shift some around a bit. And there you are. That's all I have to talk about today. And I shall need to start looking at the old gaming news and things, and trying to come up with all sorts of interesting things to talk about. Because I've not really been looking at too much at what's been going on in the gaming world with everything that's been going on. So the vlogs have kind of been, just random little things that I've picked up on. So there you are. I hope that's been of some joy and interest to you on this Friday. I am, as always. I'm actually on my second beer because I was unpacking a whole load of things that went on with the shopping today, and I thought, well, I'll do it with a little beer. Cheers to you all, that's very nice. I've only just started the second one, though, to be fair, so I'm still not particularly slurry, although you could probably tell me if I am. But there you are. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you again, as it always is, and I shall see you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.